The Barbie movie was not about creating a movie to sell more toys or even about making a movie. Our goal was to create a cultural event. We wanted to break convention and stand out in a very crowded market.
Think about Barbie, Hot Wheels, and American Girl. These aren't just products, they're iconic Mattel franchises that generations have grown up with. But a few years ago, Mattel faced a serious challenge. Sales were down, debt was high, and there was a revolving door of leadership. So when Ynon Kreiz stepped in as CEO, he didn't just see a struggling toy company. He saw an opportunity to reshape a brand and make a cultural impact. Ynon's vision was to turn Mattel into a powerhouse of intellectual property, one that could resonate globally, not only through toys, but through movies, TV, digital experiences, even through theme parks. Here's how Ynon Kreiz is taking Mattel out of the toy box. When you came on as CEO, this wasn't a company that was doing very well. I'm curious, what made you think this is the right opportunity for me right now?
I had the opportunity to be on the board of the company before I stepped into the CEO role. And while on the board of the company, you don't have the same depth and level of knowledge that you would as an operator, it was very clear to me what needs to happen, but more from the board position. And the thesis that I believed in is the company should transition from being a toy manufacturing company that was making items and become an IP company that is managing franchises. And perhaps the biggest change in our DNA was to think of people who buy our product not just as consumers, but as fans that have an emotional relationship with our brands. And many fans in the aggregate is an audience. And when you realize that you are speaking to an audience, it's a very different conversation than talking to individual consumers that are buying items off a shelf. And that's what excited me to see the transformation of the company.
You know, we look at Mattel right now, like the Barbie movie, this is so incredible, this new path that you're on, but that wasn't guaranteed at all when you became CEO. Was there any part of you that said, I've got a lot of other opportunities I could go after? Maybe this isn't the right one?
There are no guarantees in business, and you know, you can come to a great company and think everything is good and in order, and then be surprised to the negative. Or you can step into a more challenging situation and benefit from the value that you can create and be stimulated by the challenge. And historically, you know, throughout my career, I've always been drawn to perhaps maybe more complicated, more challenging situations. I relish the challenge. I believe in stepping into complicated situations and try to find a way to create or find that economic model that will create value. And, you know, especially in times where there's such transition in technology and changing business models, it's especially rewarding to find a new economic model that will take advantage of this location and create shareholder value out of converting the assets that the company owns into a successful business model.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the team. One of the tough decisions you had to make, one of the tough moves you had to make was you did some pretty significant layoffs. I believe you cut about 35% of the company. But you also moved people within roles. What's that sort of job mobility look like? Or how do you find the right people, the right talent within your company?
You know, as a leader, as a CEO, much of your role is about managing people. Your role is to try to create an environment where people can excel and succeed in what they're set out to do. It's about clarity of purpose, having a common vision and a common goal. And often there are situations where people are placed in the wrong position, in the wrong role. If this was a sports team, we all know the examples where people are just moving to another part of the field or have a different strategy of what they need to do, and success follows. And there were situations within the company that people were not optimizing what they were doing or couldn't fulfill their capabilities and talent in the way the role was positioned or situated. And we tried to create an environment where people can step up and really benefit or bring forward their capabilities for the benefit of the organization.
Yeah, but you had 4 CEOs before you who couldn't do it. Is there something that you feel like is your superpower or that kind of was the unlock for taking talented people on great IP and turning it into something better?
You know what has been guiding me, and this is something I've been trying to bring to the company, are 3 core principles, which are collaboration, innovation, and execution. Collaboration is about working as one team, one cohesive team with shared goals and common vision. Working as a team collaboratively is a key virtue of any successful company. Innovation is about continue to evolve and do things in a better way than we've done them before. This is not necessarily about creativity per se. It's not just about designing great product or making great movies. You can innovate in anything you do. It's about finding new ways to do things better in any role. And execution is about getting the job done. And I think it's very important for every employee, every member of any organization to have clarity in what they are trying to achieve and how that ladders up to the overall goal, mission, and purpose of any company where they work. And of course, in addition to that, we were very purposeful in defining our brand promise, our product attributes, our strategy laid out on one page. Not to say that it's easy, but at least it's very clear and easy to understand what is that we're trying to achieve.
And how do you make sure that a mission and purpose become part of the culture? It's one thing, you can have it printed on a wall or in pamphlets, but how do you really get people to buy into it or to live it?
It starts with building consensus and making sure that people share the vision and buy into the vision at the senior leadership of the company. And then you start cascading those messages across the organization. Some of it is printed on the walls, proudly, in prominent places. And it's also about constant communication, repetition, and embedding it into who we are, what we do, and how we do. And it's not just for marketing purposes, and it's not just about slogans. It's about embedding it into the day-to-day. And this is something that we have been working on from the very beginning, and we still continue to work on and drive every single day.
Let's talk about the Barbie movie, which felt new and different and probably not what you would have expected from a corporation, a toy company making a movie. Could have gone a totally different way. It was, I would assume, a pretty big risk to have a movie that had the tone that the Barbie movie did, or that took on some of the topics that it did. How involved were you in that process? Was there any point where you're like, I kind of want to take this back. I want to make this a little bit more, brand safe, more like a commercial. How did you kind of juggle that?
From the very beginning, the Barbie movie was not about creating a movie to sell more toys or even about making a movie. Our goal was to create a cultural event. We wanted to break convention and do something wholly original that will stand out in a very crowded market. So the approach from the very beginning was to do something, come at it from a different angle, a different perspective. Always focus on quality. It was always about trust, trusting the creator, trusting Greta Gerwig's vision and her interpretation of the Barbie movie. I was on the set personally at least 5 times, and I attended every test screenings that we've done. So I was very close to the process personally. And of course, Robbie Brenner, the president of Mattel Films, was on the set regularly. And we were very involved. And that's what gave us trust, because we knew that Greta is such a visionary creator and someone who really focused on culture, who understood the Barbie brand, and had her finger on the pulse of what matters in society. Greta took the Barbie brand that was about inspiring the limitless potential in every girl, and she expanded it to people everywhere. She made this movie relevant for everyone. And that is really the magic that she brought into the narrative, and what allowed her to take her vision and turn it into such a successful movie that resonated in culture, and perhaps putting the success of the box office aside, and we're very proud of that as well, of course, it's about how she was able to touch the heart and mind of people everywhere. That makes us so proud of what the movie became to be.
So Ynon, is there a lesson in there for, as executives and as companies think about how to create cultural moments, or how to work with creators, or how to find the right people, or how you learn to set up these creatives to be successful with your brands that you care about so deeply? How do you make that transition or handshake happen?
We were very deliberate about defining the goal for Mattel Films, which is to collaborate with leading filmmakers to create standout quality movies based on our iconic brands that will resonate in culture and appeal to global audiences. And of course, Greta was the first. And like Greta, we are trying to attract other incredible creators and offering a home, a place where they can imagine, interpret, and bring to bear their vision and how they think of our brands. Our brands are unique because they have a built-in fan base. They already have a reason for being, a defined purpose that elevates them above other brands in a crowded market. So when these creative visionaries collaborate with our brands, with Mattel as a platform, they already have a unique perspective. We support them, we empower them, we amplify what they envisage, and of course then we help them create demand and excitement in the marketplace, leveraging our demand creation capabilities. And this is exactly what happened with the Barbie movie.
So I love to always end these with career advice. What's the career advice you give to people, or someone who wants to work at Mattel one day and work their way up?
You know, it's back to the core leadership values that we talked about. You have to collaborate, you have to innovate, and you have a very, very clear sense of purpose and aim to execute what you were set out to achieve. This is what, be a team player, always try to innovate and move the ball forward and focus on the execution part of your job, on the bottom line. Am I successful in trying to achieve what I was set out to do? And it doesn't always measure in numbers. It can also be qualitative, but have a very clear sense of purpose of what is that you're trying to achieve.
And if you had to pick any one of those three, will that work on its own? Or is it you have to have this blend of the teamwork, innovation, get things done?
I believe they're all integrated. They all work together. And you can't achieve one without the other. And there's no, there is no formula. There is no playbook. It's about also adapting and adjusting to every particular situation and being able to navigate in different companies to find that right path.
Here's what stood out to me. Ynon Kreiz had a vision. He didn't just see Mattel as a toy company, he saw it as a cultural powerhouse. And he created a blueprint to rebuild Mattel through its intellectual property. His plan was rooted in collaboration, innovation, and execution that allowed Mattel to resonate with audiences around the world on a deeper level. Ynon brought in visionary creators like Greta Gerwig to help Mattel's brand connect with fans in new ways. And this is the crazy part. He gave them autonomy to drive cultural impact in their own way. And in doing so, he expanded the brand's influence beyond toys to make Mattel part of the zeitgeist. He's proven that rebuilding a brand is about finding new ways to stand out. He does it by telling stories that resonate, inspire, and leave a lasting impact. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think makes a brand memorable in today's world? Let me know in the comments.